Okay, clase. Now we're going to talk about using commands with pronouns. So remember, we have our direct object pronouns and our indirect object pronouns. So direct object pronouns will answer the what. What is being acted upon? Or the who. Who is being acted upon? These pronouns are me, te, lo, la, nos, los, and las. Then we have our indirect object pronouns, which will answer the to whom, for whom. So who is the action being done for? Okay. We have our pronouns. They look very, very similar except for the bottom two boxes. So we have me, te, le, nos, and les. Okay. These are the pronouns that we are working with. So again, we are going to use commands. We're telling people what to do. Okay, so let's use a command that is just a simple command so that you can see what I mean. If I want to say, you all buy the shoes. Okay, so ustedes, and then remember that the verb comprar means to buy. Remember, yo drop swap. So compró, drop and swap, because it's an AR verb. So I'm swapping for the opposite ending of the family. So it's going to be EN. Ustedes compren los zapatos. Okay. In this case, I don't know who the shoes are for. I just know that I'm telling you to buy the shoes. So that means we're going to be using our direct object pronoun. So what is being acted upon in this sentence? What is being bought? Los zapatos. Los zapatos, so we're going to use the direct object los to represent them. So we're going from you all buy the shoes to you all buy them. Okay? So I'm going to say ustedes compren, and in order to represent them, the shoes, I'm going to attach los to my command. Comprenlos. What happens when you add an extra syllable to stuff? You've got to maintain the original stressed vowel. So since we switched the rules, remember that naturally the second to last syllable is the one that's stressed naturally. So you don't have to see any written accents because of that. However, we added an extra one. So then if someone was reading this and they followed the rules, they would try to stress the E because it's the second to last one. However, we need to maintain the original one, compre. So we're going to write our accent right there. Okay? Ustedes comprenlos. So you all buy them. Now, what I wanted to show you with the negative commands, so telling someone not to do something and using your pronouns, this will make it that you break up your verb and your pronoun. So I would go to no los compren. Ustedes, if you want to keep that subject there. So ustedes no los compren. If it's negative, you're going to keep them apart. So you will keep the verb and the pronoun separate if it's a negative command. If it's an affirmative, so a positive command, you're saying, yes, do this, you're going to keep them together. Okay? All right, now let's try a verb that's a little bit trickier because it's an irregular in the yo form. So here I was saying you all buy the shoes. How about I switch to you all bring the shoes? So my next example will be ustedes, and then what's the verb to bring? Does anyone remember? Traer. Traer goes to traigo in the yo. Then you're going to swap. Ustedes, and it's originally an ER verb, So we're going to swap it for an AR ending. I know that seems a little confusing, but that's just the best way to remember how to form commands. So we're going to say ustedes, and then we swapped. So it's no longer en, it's going to be traigan, to bring. You all bring the shoes. Los zapatos. So now I'm going to add a indirect subject to use both of these pronouns. So bring the shoes for mom. Okay, so what is being acted upon? The shoes. Who are they for? To whom? For whom? The mom. We're going to have two pronouns here. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. So we have ustedes, and then our command. Remember that we have our indirect in front of our direct, always. Whenever we're using two of them, indirect will always come in front. So to represent mom, the indirect pronoun will be le, right? Singular. Okay. In Spanish, if you're using these two bottom boxes with these two bottom boxes, you cannot have two L's together. So this will automatically switch to se, and that applies to the singular and to the plural. So I'm going to say traigan se, and then the shoes are represented by our direct object pronoun los. Tráiganselos. Okay, again, we added two extra syllables. We gotta emphasize, we have to tell people that you still gotta stress the original one. Tráiganselos. Okay, so I know this seems like a mouthful. Tráiganselos. Bring, so we're saying bring them to her. Okay, now let's switch to a negative command. So don't bring them to her. Ustedes no, indirect, always before direct. No se los traigan. Okay, this is using commands. So you will need to keep in mind your indirect versus direct and how to use them correctly. And remember that le and les will switch to se. There's no ses, just se. What else? If it's a negative command, you're going to separate those pronouns. If it's an affirmative command, you're telling someone, yes, do this. You're going to keep them together at the end of your command. Okay, adios.